Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Thursday, March 9th, 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is Gameonicist, aka Janet Garcia.
Yo, what's good?
Janet, we're back home because the studio's under maintenance. Shout out to maintenance. Janet, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I got a hat on today because I was playing VR in the morning and I carved out enough time to set up, but not enough time for this line to disappear. So
I love that.
rocking the porty hat as a result. I was and the first hat I pulled wasn't this hat, but the brim didn't go down far enough, so I had to like hot swap the hats out.
I will say a couple of things. You're looking fresh with the hat.
Thank you.
I do dig the hat look. You also look like an undercover Avenger.
I was gonna say you look like an incognito, like you're in Captain America, trying not to get caught by Hydra.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, you know, if you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. So there you go.
Exactly. What were you playing in VR? Is it something you can talk about?
It is not something I can talk about, but something that you will hear about very soon. I never like doing like the too close tease because then people start looking at calendars and it's a whole thing, even though half the time I'm not playing any of the things people think I am. But
well, Janet, are you playing Mario Kart?
I'm always playing Mario Kart a little bit.
Good, because that's what we're going to talk about, because today's stories include Mario Kart 8 Deluxe possibly getting more characters, Jim Ryan wants only one thing, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kind of Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use creator code Kind of Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, head to kindoffunny.com/KFGD to write in with your questions, squad ups, and more. And remember, patreon.com/kindoffunny will get you the show ad-free, plus a bevy of bonus content. Housekeeping for you, there's a big sale over on the Kind of Funny store. It's a buy one get one free sale with the code KFBOGO. That is KFBOGO over on kindoffunny.com/store if you want to get that hat that Jan's rocking currently and some more Kind of Funny merch. BOGO. That's like my favorite like sales acronym. That's like always recurring.
Did Payless come up with that, or was that always has that existed since the dawn of man?
I mean, my first encounter with it must have been like GameStop. But they actually know because they didn't.
GameStop was doing BOGO.
No.
GameStop was BOGOing.
They were doing buy two get ones. Not BOGOs, which I guess is different.
My gripe with BOGO is that I feel like a lot of places don't use it correctly, where it's like they say BOGO, but then it's buy one get one half off. That should just be BOGO ho, you know?
Yeah.
BOGO ho.
But they just say BOGO, you know? It's bullshit.
No,
but not this one.
Never
not
led
this
me
one
astray
right
with the BOGO. That's where I first saw BOGO. That's like that was like their thing.
I will say the other place I go to is,
but now
like,
it's our thing over at the store.
And that was kind of funny thing. Anytime I want to get cheap glasses, if you go to any cheap glasses store online, they are always doing a BOGO sale. Like, I've never not once gone to an online glasses shop and there not being a BOGO sale going on. And so if you want some cheap glasses, search online. Goggles for free is what I use.
I know why we're talking about this, but I do the not sponsored, but could be. Hit us up. I do the America's Best, like $85. You get the eye exam and 2 pairs of glasses, and it's like, all right, I'm set for the year. That's it.
More housekeeping for you. This Friday is March 10th, so you know what that means. It is Mario Day. I'm teaming up with Retro Queen AshSaidHi to bring you a Super Mario celebration this Friday, March 10th on twitch.tv/twitch at 11 a.m. Pacific time to celebrate everyone's favorite plumber /kart racer /athlete /doctor /painter /janitor. You get the idea.
Man.
A Renaissance man. It is Mario. What game was he a janitor in?
A janitor?
Yeah, this says janitor on the write-up, and I'm trying to like, because I don't. Here's the thing, I can't doubt it.
He does
everything.
Let us know. I mean, he cleans. Like in Sunshine, he was cleaning, but I wouldn't say he was the janitor.
Oh,
because that was more like court mandated community service.
No, that's a good point. That's a really good point that I actually never thought about. Yeah, we should replace janitor with court mandated
He's a
community
criminal.
servicer.
Is the thing. Falsely accused king.
Man with a record. Mario.
Oh, you don't see the man made of gelatin standing right there? They're like, I've never seen this guy before. What a game. What is this? You can't just put text next to any image and just.
Where did you find? Did you just type in Mario Janitor? Is that how you found this?
And there's a New York Times correction 25 years later. This is from Kotaku. This was published 9 years ago. Mario is not a janitor. Apparently, in the New York Times, they credited him as a janitor, but then they had to correct it.
Interesting.
Like years later.
That's super fucked up. Like,
so just this image out of context is just fucking hilarious.
You can't just call somebody who's a plumber a janitor. Like that's disrespectful.
I mean, you just did. Like,
well, no, that's because the script told me to. But I questioned.
It's two different skill sets. Okay.
You're like one notch away from being I'm Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Wait, what is it?
Have you not seen Anchorman? Have you not seen Anchorman? This whole thing
Anchorman.
falls apart with that. Just keep going with the show. And watch Anchorman also.
I saw the clip where all the celebrities show up and like Kanye West is there and a bunch of people. I think that was
I think that's the second one. Yeah. Yeah. Go watch that. Some homework for you.
Gotcha. Also, to rewind a little bit, you said Super Mario Sunshine. What a game. Do you like Super Mario Sunshine a lot?
Hell yeah, I like Super Mario Sunshine. Do you not?
No,
not really.
Why?
We're anti Mario Sunshine here.
But here's the thing. I talked about this all the time. Is it because you gotta
swap the nozzles? Because the swapping the nozzles was bad.
I didn't own a GameCube growing up because I was a PS2 kid, and so I've only ever revisited GameCube games, and some of them have been hits. Shout out to Metroid Prime. Some of them trying to revisit just don't work for me, and that's Super Mario Sunshine, where I try to pick up Mario Sunshine over the years via emulators and latest through the 3D All-Stars collection. And I think it was the 3D All-Stars collection that broke me, where I was just like, no, I don't like this game. I can't get behind it. It just doesn't control right, and control is the most important thing when it comes to a Mario game. Like, I gotta
Flood didn't do it for you?
No,
Mario,
I didn't. I wasn't fucking with Flood.
Damn, no. You're not fucking with the vision. Yeah, it's definitely like the weirdo Mario game of the. Here's the thing. I love like the weird kids, you know, the Jack 2s, even though RIP to Jack 2 because that didn't work out very well for me. But Sunshine, it's got summer vibes, and I like the mechanic of cleaning up. Like Isle Delfino's really fun. There's definitely a lot of problems with that game. I think it could use some more substantial tweaks to really make it what it could have been. So I can get it, but I think there's some really fun the platforming sections without Flood too. Some of the hardest and best platforming, I think, in 3D Mario, even
This is
now.
what I'll say. I missed the person's name, and I can't figure out how to scroll back on this thing. But somebody in chat said that Sunshine is better than 64. I need you to ban yourself out of existence. All right?
Wasn't you
Get
also
out of our
really
chat.
like 64 though, right? Like,
wait, say that again?
You don't like 64 though, right?
No, 64 is literally one of my favorite games ever.
Really? I thought you said it didn't. Was there?
No,
I thought you said it didn't age well.
64 was my
that's
first.
me.
No,
That's me.
It's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
My
I would
mistake.
never say 64 didn't age well.
I have a lot of
phenomenally.
fond memories of 64 playing as a kid. It's one of those, like, to me, it's similar to GoldenEye where I go back to it and it's weird. Not the way that he controls, but just like design to me.
Yeah.
But also Sunshine is a bad game.
I enjoy Sunshine. I don't think it's better
on
than
that. We can
64,
agree on
but it's fun.
I mean, listen, we can all agree that Mario
It's fun
Odyssey
to clean.
is fantastic. It's a 10 out of 10 game.
He's going back to
Yes.
his roots of like fixing things, even though again, it's really just community service. But
Fair enough. But yeah, we're doing that Mario Day stream. That's going down tomorrow over on twitch.tv/Twitch. I also want to shout out the fact that, you know, Twitch is doing this Mario Day stream and they're like, hey, let's hit up Blessing, the #1 Mario fan at Kinda Funny, not Tim Geddes. Blessing. I just want to put that out there because years ago now, I challenged him to like a Mario off. Hey, let's do a Mario face off where we play a bunch of Mario games and do challenges and stuff. And he was like, he was scared. You know, he didn't respond. He was like, no, I can't do this. You know, Blessing will defeat me. Even though he claims to be a big Mario fan. That's the exact quote. He said, Blessing will defeat me was the exact quote. I'm just saying, Tim, step up, man. Step up. Otherwise, Twitch is going to keep hitting me up instead of you.
you hate to see it. You're about to take
You hate
that
to
cartridge
see
from
it.
him, that Miyamoto cartridge. Watch out.
God. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Tripod Plus Plus and Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays and Honey, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have... Ooh, I forgot to count 5 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting, I was worried about Barrett for a second. Starting with our #1, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe may be getting 5 more characters in future DLC waves. This is Adele Anchor's range at IGN. The latest update for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has arrived, and it looks like 5 more characters will join the racer roster in future DLC waves. Wave 4 of the Booster Course Pass added 8 new tracks to the game, alongside Birdo as a playable racer. However, several Twitter users have pointed out that 5 empty slots are now on the character selection screen, indicating that more drivers will arrive in future DLC drops. Alongside Birdo and these mystery characters, the 4th wave introduced 8 new tracks, including Singapore Speedway, Bangkok Rush, Amsterdam Drift, Donkey Kong Summit, Riverside Park, Mario Kart Circuit, Waluigi Stadium, and one brand new course, Yoshi's Island. Janet, as somebody who just mentioned that you play Mario Kart all the time, what have you gotten to check out the new wave for the DLC pass yet?
No, I haven't. I'm just saving it for either a stream or maybe just with my family. We tend to, that's like our re-up moment. Again, I don't play super regularly at this point, but I always come back for the new waves at some point in that kind of early rollout phase. So yeah, excited to dip back in. I am still like, I'm not really famously bitter because I don't think I went viral for my anger, but I do wish they rolled things out like where was this when like the Switch launched, I feel like they kind of like missed the window and then came back in, and I'm always happy to have more Mario Kart. It is the best Mario Kart. I think it's not even close to an argument, but I'm not sure if they're, this idea of them having that extra like, oh, maybe 5 more characters, maybe more drops, if this really is, Mario Kart 8 Ultimate Deluxe forever, that could be fun because again, fantastic Mario Kart 8, fantastic Mario Kart game, but I'm just not really sure what the rest of that franchise looks like. And I think Nintendo is not very good at giving you those bigger picture plans or ideas or having that, community connection. It's like they just kind of drop stuff and then leave. And it just feels like, oh, I'm glad I have this, but it's kind of like you dropped off my gift and then you didn't stay for the cake. And I'm like, I guess this is still nice. Like we're still friends, but it just seems like something's missing a little bit in the whole wrap up. But what about you? Have you been dipping back in? How often are you heading back into Mario Kart 8?
I'm not dipping back in as much as I would like. It's that thing where there's always so many video games to play, and for as much as I like Mario Kart, I don't like it enough to stop what I'm doing to then play a new wave of courses. It's something that I would do if we did a stream or if we did some kind of like in the studio, hey, let's bust out Mario Kart and play through the new wave. I'll definitely do that. But no, I'm not gotten a chance to check this out. I do think that the idea of the 5 blank spots in the character selection screen, very interesting. Very interesting, very weird, and it comes back to what you're talking about in terms of, Nintendo doesn't really do a good job of giving you their grand plans for what their view of what Mario Kart 8's longevity is. And I think part of that is the fact that they're teeing this line between, hey, this is a deluxe version of this game that came out years and years and years ago, almost a decade ago on the Wii U versus, hey man, this is kind of a games as a service now. Like we are doing periodical updates to this thing where we're adding in new courses, adding in now new characters. And I feel like they're in a way kind of having their cake and eating it too, where they can go, no, you guys have no expectations for this because we're not giving you the leeway to think that this is an ongoing game, but we're going to treat it like it's an ongoing game. We're going to add in the courses, we're going to add in the characters, and now we're in the place where we get to speculate on what the fuck is going on with these 5 blank spaces. First of all, can we all agree that these 5 spaces means that they're going to add the 5 new characters? Right? Like,
yeah, it'd be pretty
this isn't just them not knowing how graphic design works, right?
Yeah, they're like, just, what do we do with this blank? Just put some question marks in there. Put some smiley faces. I don't know. Ship it. Yeah, it'd be really odd if they didn't end up releasing 5 characters. Because
I feel like
I think it's pretty safe to assume that.
This is the most blatant version of it, but we have fallen for it from Nintendo, where they have been like, hey, here's a themes folder, and like you go and there's just been 2 themes throughout the whole Switch's existence. And then I always go back to Mario Maker 2, where there was the other styles where they had like you can play as Mario 1, Mario 3, and then they added in I think like 3D World as one of the other, or no, was it Mario 2? I think it might have been Mario 2 as the like other styles section, and they have it as plural. Then they just never added any more styles. It was just the one. And so I from those, I never know what to expect from Nintendo unless they officially come out and be like, hey, you are getting new characters, or you're getting more styles, or whatever the thing is. This though is blatant. This though feels like if you don't fill in these spots, what the fuck are we doing?
Chat's been saying that at somewhere they said when they talked about Birdo that more characters would be coming in the future as well. So
sweet. All right, cool. So we have confirmation there, thank God. So in that case, who do we think these characters are going to be? Are these going to be Mario characters?
Samus Aran, baby.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Oh, that'd be great.
Especially with Metroid popping off lately.
Yeah.
Something that I don't know offhand are there characters that have been in Mario Karts previously that aren't in here now? Because I feel like that could be a potential source for answers.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
But other than that, honestly, it's tough because I'm wondering how much from each IP are they really looking to have, you know? Because I'm thinking of like Splatoon, for instance, because they only have 2 Splatoon characters, and they're pretty like dated models, I think, for the franchise. Like very much those are like Splatoon 1 associations, maybe 2. Again, I don't want to just totally misspeak because maybe those were part of the promotional for 2. I don't remember. But either way, we're on 3 at this point, and I feel like having. I don't know if they'd want to do the idols because that does kind of date themselves, but I think Big Man is very popular and would be the thought of Big Man riding like a tiny bicycle, I feel like is too good. People in the chat saying maybe Petey Piranha could come back or something. Yeah, I want a big doofus. You know, these are the deep cut weirdos. You know, Mario's already here. We got like Metal Mario or whoever the hell, or like all the babies and all that. Also, we don't need all these babies. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, there's so many of them.
What I want to point out is the layout of the character select screen here, because they kind of do have it divided into categories. Like that very bottom row are all third-party characters, and I believe the one that I'm hiding with my screen bear, I assume that's like the Mii.
Yeah, that's the Mii amiibo.
Yeah.
Not just because I already see that you're wrong. Not third-party as in like outside of Nintendo, but non-Mario characters.
Non-Mario,
yeah.
Good call. But yeah, like all those on the bottom are like non-Mario characters. So I wonder if it is, hey, we have one of those, and then Mario Kart nerds being Barrett and Janet. Are the lines divided up into like category of racer?
Oh,
because like all the babies are on the third.
Like all of Bowser's kids are in that like second to last row there. But then the babies are grouped together. But then you've got Gold Mario and Rose Gold Peach there. No, I don't know, man.
I think they might just be randomly splattered. I don't know, and I'm also not too deep into
It's like semi-organized, and then they gave up.
Yeah, they're like, we can't do this.
And as far as like how they drive, I've never looked at the like. I'm not playing for pro level stats. I'm playing for I'm Toad. Like that's basic. Oh, no, I'm Toadette. I always race as Toadette. Maybe sometimes I'll switch it up, or for like, oh, let's do a theme. Let's all be like the babies or something, or let's all be like whatever. Then I'll switch it up. But I'm pretty much always Toadette. Are Toadette's stats good? I don't know, and I don't care. I'm Toadette. I'm on the motorcycle, and I'm spinning around. What about you though? Who do you want to see get added in here?
I mean, I think non-Mario characters would be my ask, even though I don't have a lot of faith that that's going to be the case. I think leading off with Birdo kind of sets the precedent of, hey, no, we're still looking inward for some of the characters. I think we will get maybe 1 or 2 non-Mario characters. And if I had to guess who, I would say Kirby and probably Samus, maybe even Captain Falcon, because we have the F-Zero stage in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And so I could see potential there. My thing is, I think if they wanted to get crazy with Mario Kart 9, which we'll talk about Mario Kart 9 in a second because there's a question about it, I would think that you transition it into being almost like Super Smash Brothers, where it's Smash Kart. Like it is all of Nintendo that's being included in this, and not just even just the pure focus on Mario anymore. And you bust those doors open. If you do want to bust those doors open, then I think you play it conservative for the DLC and who you include. My thing though is like looking at this list, I don't know who else you include from Mario. Like Birdo, I think is a good one to include. I think we mentioned Piranha Plant. Like probably Petey Piranha. I think that'd be a dope one to include. Oh, where's
not
Pauline?
Just the plant.
Is Pauline not in here?
No, but
add Pauline.
Honestly, okay, fucking put Cappy in there. Like I want to see a hat drive a car.
How would you make that work? Would you literally have? Would it be like a floating hat, or would
he has
Cappy
little hands? Like
Does
his
he?
hat.
Oh yeah, when he's in like
things.
when he's in his top hat form, like the bottom part of it, he's got like a little weird ghost body.
They're like little nubs.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's got some nubs. He can whip the wheel.
he's riding dirty.
The dinosaur from Mario Odyssey.
Well, I was gonna say, I think Pauline is. You got to put Pauline in there. Paulina is great, and they put her in Mario in like some of the Mario sports games. I believe Mario Tennis.
Yeah, I think tennis or something. Yeah.
And then I know the New Donk City stage was in Mario Golf as well. And so yeah, I think they want to represent Pauline. I would add Pauline. I think Diddy Kong for another Kong would be great. Somebody in chat keeps saying Funky Kong, and I think Funky Kong would be fun, especially
Funky
coming
Kong
out for the Mario movie. You know, like they have the Mario Kart scene in there where they're riding on Rainbow Road, and it looks like one of those people is Funky Kong. So I think you can build synergy there by adding in Funky Kong as a character, and then maybe add a new Funky mode. That last part's a joke, but yeah, I think that'd be a slam dunk. What about you? Are there any more characters that come to mind?
Other than Big Man, and Cappy, because it's dumb. Like let's see who do I actually like that I'd want to see in here that isn't there. People in chat mentioned Toon Link, and I do love a Toon Link. Though I don't know if they're gonna do. I mean, they do have they're always like, well, again, they're always selling the same stuff because like the franchises are so long running. So I don't necessarily think Tears of the Kingdom is why they'll add like more Link content. I don't know how much they want to double up on characters either. Like they already have a lot of that for the base Mario characters.
Somebody in chat mentioned Kamek. Like
oh
weird,
God,
like,
who wants to be Kamek? You know, like
I mean,
you know what?
You don't
need
get
a couple
to be
characters.
Kamek enough.
You need a couple characters in there that are red flag characters. Like whoever's picking that person, you know, mental note. Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, we don't trust that.
I hate
person.
Kamek.
Wow, I didn't know there was Kamek hate out there like that.
Yeah, I mean he's a bad guy. Why would I like him? Like what's good about him?
There's plenty of bad guys that we like. I like Bowser.
And his levels are like a pain. Like his little wand and like all this stuff goes in different directions.
That is fair.
He like makes everyone big in Yoshi's Island. Yeah, this guy fucking sucks. I'll go on record right now. I'm not gonna fucking be a Kamek apologist, okay? This dude's trash.
I want to bring in this question from Jordan D, who writes in kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like you can. It says, "Good morning, Blessing and Janet. The newest Mario Kart 8 DLC seems to have slots for 5 more potential characters to be added to the roster. With this, and knowing we have more DLC packs still out, do you think there's even a need for a potential Mario Kart 9? Looking at games like Destiny 2 or Dota, is there a point where games don't really need sequels and can just exist? Mario Kart is the perfect party game. Gamers and non-gamers all love it and know how to play it. And the mechanics are all solid except for maybe 200cc courses. How much more can Nintendo really add or innovate at this point? Would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Jordan. Very interesting question.
I don't. It's tough because Nintendo's never really done the ongoing support thing. I know this is kind of them doing it, but I don't know if I'm kind of good with whatever they do as long as I get more Mario Kart content. Like either way, does it really matter if it's in more 8 via boosting up the value of the Nintendo Online subscription or whether it's a new game? I will say the pro of a new game is genuinely there is iteration and thematic change between the Mario Karts. Like they all have their own identity. It's more than just evolving the mechanics or maybe putting it in a different environment. Like they have their own mechanical shtick, with this one being the kind of zero gravity is sort of, oh, what's different or weird about this one? But yeah, it's kind of it's just a unique position. Like the reason I, bring it back to like what I mentioned earlier, where I was a bit annoyed seeing and we have new stuff. It's not because I like hate getting the new stuff or because I don't want to pay for the new stuff. It's just that they had a plan and they just switched it up, which like we've seen many companies do, where we had like 8 Deluxe and they're like, hey, we know you bought it before, but can you buy it again and it'll have the DLC? Like, so I bought the game on Wii U. I bought the DLC for the game on Wii U. Then I bought the game that came with the DLC on Switch. And now I'm buying more DLC for the thing that said it had all the DLC. And that's why I'm like, that's good,
Dude, wait until Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the next Switch.
That's a thing, super duper
they'll
Deluxe,
just add more DLC to 10 years later.
So, it is what it is. We're here now. I'm like, okay, I'm here. I hope you have a vision, and I'd love for you to share that vision with us. I do think, though, do we need a Mario Kart 9? Not necessarily, but I would like one, and I would like a clean start with like a true ongoing support plan from the jump would be my dream for a 9, where 8 is sort of maybe a testing ground for what is the interest level or like player retention. Again, I don't know what their goals are from a business perspective with this game and this franchise, but I think in my dream world, Mario Kart 8's support is more of a proof of concept, and that 9 is like, this is the ultimate Mario Kart, and maybe they add in something, I don't know, mechanically that will kind of warrant the fact that it would be an additional one. But that's like, boom, this is it. This is our ongoing game. We're here just indefinitely. I think that would be the best of kind of both. But what about you? Are you just want more 8? Do you want 9?
I mean, I think the way they're treating it right now is pretty fine. To Jordan's question of how much more can Nintendo really add or innovate to this point, Nintendo, for as weird and different and sometimes technologically behind, right, they're also very creative, and they're also like they're a lot of times geniuses when it comes to, hey, what is a mechanic or feature or system that we can add to a game to give it fresh new life, to make it an entirely different thing, right? Like you mentioned the changes that we get from Mario Kart to Mario Kart in terms of zero gravity. Oh, now we're adding we're adding the cars can fly now. You're floating through air. Double Dash added the team mechanic to it, right? Like I think whatever Mario Kart 9 ends up being will be something that will be marketed with and here's the X factor, right? They're gonna add in a new X factor because they always find that new thing to add in there to make it worth it. I love the image, Barrett.
Yeah, they fly now.
That said, I think right now Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think Nintendo's goal with it is to get as much juice out of it for the Switch era as they can. I think they're playing the waiting game and like waiting on whatever the big predecessor or big successor to the Switch is to then release Mario Kart 9 so that they can plant that flag and be like, cool, now we're releasing this version of Mario Kart that we know is going to be the best-selling game on the platform, and we're going to update this thing throughout the whole existence of the platform. That way you kind of have that ushering in, right, that transition point to where you pick up a new Switch 2 or whatever it is, and then you pick up Mario Kart and you ride with that throughout the rest of the generation.
I think too, something I'd like to see from 9 is a proper campaign, which I have not played every single Mario Kart game, but I have played this one a lot across the 2 platforms, and there's not really a lot in that lane. I would just play to unlock the stuff, and then with 8 Deluxe, like it was unlocked automatically. So then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just keep getting new wheels.
Let me tell you about this game called Diddy Kong Racing.
Crash Team Racing.
You would love. Well, I mean, Diddy Kong Racing
loved it at the time, and then I grew up, blessing, and realized
it
was slow as fuck.
Don't say that.
Have you played it in the modern era?
Yes, I played it like literally like a month ago on my.
It's like driving
big,
through
beautiful
mud.
Machine called the
It's
Steam
awful.
Deck.
It feels terrible. You must have
Allegedly.
played a different version than the one I played because it feels awful.
Well,
like,
I also
the level
just
design's great. The mechanic shtick of like you got the little inflatey and then you got the plane. That's awesome. The feeling, terrible.
It's that thing where I played so much of it growing up that I can't separate myself from how good it felt back in the day, right? Like I pick up Diddy Kong Racing and it feels as good as day one because like I don't know how to I can't let that game age in my brain. But I totally feel what you're saying, right? If like you pick up this game for the first time in 2023,
these turns. These wide
turns are great.
No,
you got
this
Diddy
looks
Kong in
awful.
a plane.
You can't see
look at
anything.
that dinosaur, though.
In a dinosaur. I think this looks fantastic.
If they did a remake, I would totally be down for that because I think all the core stuff's there. I just don't think it feels that good. And in its defense, I'm not playing going back to a lot of old kart racers because they hurt my eyes, frankly. Like those old Mario Kart games are painful to play because the ground is like fake 3D and stuff. You know.
That's my thing is like have you gone back to Mario Kart 64? Like how would you compare it to this?
I would never.
Yeah. Like that's my thing is of the era. Like Diddy Kong Racing, fucking fantastic.
I still think 64 does feel better. And I guess I have gone back not too long ago, but I don't generally because there's no need to. But
wow,
yeah,
I can't believe it.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, I would think that right now they're in the phase of promoting and updating Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as much as they can for the Switch era, and then next Switch or next Nintendo console we get Mario Kart 9 where you can fly even higher.
Also,
and
really
you can
quick,
go underwater now.
In the chat that there was a remake of Diddy Kong Racing on the DS?
There was a version, of Diddy Kong Racing on the DS. Was it a remake or like a sequel? I think there was
I don't know, but I missed
Kong
that.
Racing? It was a whole
Always
thing.
a reason to go back to the DS, so.
Kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Wait, is that tiny?
I'm seeing the 2 screens, so. Also, I know that usually the bottom screen was only used for like the map in like 80-90% of games, but frankly, having the map on a second screen is
dope.
kind of
it was
elite.
dope.
Yeah, it's goated. Like,
shout out to the DS era, man.
And even like the Wii U had that aspect
Dixie.
too, where you could just again the gamepad. I'm really just looking at the map, but like sometimes what you need is just that second screen, you know. Anyway.
Anyway, story number 2. Epic Games Store launches self-publishing tools for developers. This is Taylor Lyles at IGN. After a long beta testing period, Epic Games announced today that it was rolling out new self-publishing tools that will allow game developers and publishers to release their games on its PC digital storefront. In a new press release, Epic Games confirmed that there are some guidelines developers and publishers must follow to utilize these tools. Some noteworthy requirements include that games offer PC crossplay support across all PC stores for multiplayer titles and include age ratings for regional distribution. One of the more interesting requirements notes that games that launch on other PC platforms like Steam that include support for achievements must also enable Epic Games Store achievements. Epic Games notes this, quote, helps standardize the player experience regardless of where the game was purchased, end quote. One incentive for developers to sell their game through the Epic Games Store, Epic Games storefront is the revenue share, in which Epic takes a 12% commission on game sales, while developers/publishers keep 88%. Developers can also choose to use their own payment solution or that of a third party in order to keep 100% of the revenue generated from in-app purchases. Like its competitor Steam, the Epic Games Store submission fee per game is $100. Cool. Love seeing tools given to developers to be able to publish games more easy. I think that's the big thing from this.
Yeah, pretty much. I think also it's kind of interesting seeing this I wouldn't say in the midst, but I think generally and sometimes for good reason. Again, I'm not as well versed on the different storefronts and what those platforms may offer that others don't, the like Steam versus EGS or whatever. But I think generally there has been a lot of resistance among especially like players on like the Epic Game Store. Like whenever you see like there was like definitely a window of time where if a game was Epic Game Store exclusive, like everyone was kind of pissed about it. So in addition to just being a cool option for developers, I think it helps kind of create, I guess, a better association with EGS than is currently had, or that I think they're kind of working against in some ways, just because there has been a lot of, I think, pushback within the PC community in terms of like needing to go to like EGS and what EGS might offer. So, you know, good things are, you know, good to have.
Now, Janet, we got some breaking news. All right. This comes directly from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. He tweets out news. Warner Brothers and Rocksteady have delayed Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League once again from May to later this year, according to a person familiar. The showcase of the game during a PlayStation stream last month was poorly received by fans. Absolutely wild.
I fucking knew I should have counterpicked
Absolutely
this game.
wild.
Y'all. If I lose
Holy
this,
cow.
it's on y'all's head. I'm never trusting you guys again. I totally, because this might not even come out. So then it would have been a great counterpick. Damn. Anyway, but yeah,
Holy
this
cow.
is surprising to hear. My thing with the delay if it is in terms of like, if it is a direct response to the reception, is I wonder what really they're going to get done in a fairly short amount of time. That's the thing, because I don't know how much that's going to move the needle. Obviously, like time in general for, you know, getting a game out the door can move the needle in terms of, you know, whether it's polishing up stuff, bug fixes, changing things. Like we've seen plenty of games get delayed that are already like pretty much well into development that maybe just need an additional pass for whatever reason. But I don't know that this will make a bit, like if this is trying to change reactions, I don't know if this will do that necessarily. But what's your read on this?
Yeah, it's super wild because I 100% agree with you, right? Like, what is a delay into later into the year going to do for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Because when you think about what the fan outrage was about, right? The fan response was about when it came to the showcase. It was mainly about what the core, like what the integral elements of the game are, right? It's more so, hey, this is a games as a service that, like, you know, has me playing as these different characters that are basically just fucking like flying all over the place, like jumping in the air, flying real high, shooting the weak spots that are like these big purple glowing orbs on the enemies. And, you know, there's like people take issue with the battle pass, with the gear system, right? Like, it's not necessarily, hey, the game looks bad necessarily, right? It's not like, oh man, this game looks like it runs. It wasn't like a Halo Infinite thing when if you remember, when like Halo Infinite had its campaign reveal and everybody's like, oh man, this kind of looks not beautiful. Like, this kind of looks a bit ugly. Like, what's going on here? It's like, no, it's a lot of the responses about what the game is, and that's not something you can fix in, let's say, 6 months or so. And it makes me wonder if this is going to be one of those indefinite delay situations where like it gets delayed and then like it gets delayed again and we just don't hear about it, and then a year and a half from now we're like, yo, where is Suicide Squad? I hope it doesn't end up that. I think honestly at this point just put the game out is where I'm at, right? Fix the things you can fix. Of course, I think there are probably things here and there in terms of polish and things that they can maybe get better, but yeah, I don't know if you can fix from the ground up the things that people really take issue with Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it also depends. Like, we're not privy to some of those more internal conversations. Like, it could very well be that this was already sort of on the table internally, and this sort of pushed it over the edge. Where it's like, look, people also aren't really feeling that. Like, we can't. Maybe they had other issues like that they discussed internally already that they wanted more time to work on, and this was maybe an additional incentive to do that. Where it's like, hey, I'm not sure about X, Y, or Z. People already are not super hot on this. We need more time to, fix these other aspects that aren't necessarily related to people's reactions, but kind of, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, they're kind of compounded potentially. So that could be a thing. It could also be aspects of maybe some, another like angle on the reaction could be, and again, it's still speculative. Okay, well, we need people to understand what this game has to offer. Maybe they want to create like a certain, redo how they're doing their preview build. If they're doing like hands-on previews, maybe they want to change like some aspects of the marketing. So it could just be also addressing what people's current perception is and how they can like adjust that in the lead up, but which also requires them to like maybe do some things on the development side. It could also be maybe they are going to change how they're doing the progression. I doubt that because that seems like a meaty overhaul. But especially with the battle pass where it has like a longevity aspect to it, maybe they're just going to restructure how they're doing that. I'm not really sure. But yeah, definitely does not. Again, I don't think a delay automatically means, oh, this game is going to be bad. People in the chat with a delayed game's good forever, quote LeBron James, whatever nonsense mashup you want to make for that.
Shout out
quote.
LeBron James for that quote, man.
PlayStation Playmaker or some shit. I forgot what it was, but but I think combined with the fact that this doesn't seem so hot, the delay kind of in this context and with like Jason's contextualization feels like maybe there's not confidence in what they have even from their part, where it's like now there's hesitancy there. So now it's like double hesitancy for me as like the consumer, or maybe I'm not hot on it. Then you're like, oh wait, you're not hot on it? Well, give me a second. And I'm like, I don't know if this is how this is going to end up shaking out. Again, at the end of the day, we got to see, what is the game actually like? You and I have both done previews where we've felt one way about the game, gotten the build, felt a different way. So there's so many factors that go into this. Not ready to say one way or the other yet, but yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I go back to our live reaction to the showcase where me and Andy, I think, kept comparing it to Outriders, just from like what the gameplay looked like and the gameplay reminded us of. And from that aspect, we enjoyed Outriders. We had a fun time with Outriders.
What an era.
What an era. And we're saying in the same respect, yeah, Suicide Squad looks like a game that I'll play, Andy will play, people will play, and be like, all right, cool, that was a fun time, and like doesn't really stick with us in the way that you expect a Rocksteady Arkham universe game to stick with you, right? When you think of Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, those games, right? Or any big AAA project that you want to hit, honestly, right? Like Suicide Squad didn't strike us as that. Suicide Squad struck us as, oh man, this would be a fun couple of streams. I don't know if I'm gonna come back for the new characters and updates and all the stuff they talked about adding in over time. With that said, though, one of the things that worked in Outriders' favor was the fact that Outriders came out in this empty time. There wasn't much competing with it directly. Suicide Squad was coming out in May, toward the end of May. So May 26th is when Outriders is coming out. Earlier that month, just a few weeks before that, you had Redfall coming through, right? In that month as well, May 12th, you have Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Like weeks after, you have Street Fighter 6, you have Diablo 4, you have Final Fantasy 16. Right now, the second half of the year isn't as populated as even what May looks like. May/June looks like for this year. So I can also see the thing of looking at the responses, seeing that people aren't super hot on it, and going, we might be able to give our game more of a chance if we give it a bit more space to breathe. Like, let's put it out in the second half of the year and hopefully maybe hit what if, November looks a bit more freer, right? What if in October looks a bit more freer? I think that'll be a waiting game to see when Spider-Man and other games hit. But I could see it being let's get out the way of the noise and see if maybe if we free ourselves up to time, people will flock to our game.
It's so stressful too, because it's like, are you leaving the noise just to enter into more noise? You know, there's so many like unknown release dates or even like release windows for some of these titles that we expect to drop in the year. I think too with the Outriders comparison, at least for me, because I also played Outriders, I went into Outriders like, this is the only big game out this week. You know, again, you know, I'm always hitting up like pretty much every like weekly release, like whatever the top like 1 to maybe max 3 games are. I try to dip in at least a little bit. Did the same with Outriders and didn't have any expectation or necessarily hope for Outriders. I kind of knew what it was about, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, let's jump in. And I think a lot of people had that attitude. And then it was like, oh, these abilities are pretty cool. It was a good time. And then, you know, while this one had so much more expectation, kind of like you mentioned with the studio, the history, and sort of too, like there's so much pressure in terms of the back and forth debate that has slowly formed the longer the marketing lead up for this game has gone, where like from the jump, I'm like, I don't know about this, y'all. And y'all are like, oh no, it's Rocksteady. And again, it could still be true. We don't know yet. And then it's like stuff kind of started to shift. There was like the leaks. And then with the gameplay, definitely I know people that have watched it and they're like, no, I'm down for this. You know, Crackdown vibes, like in a good way, or, you know, that also could be a bad way depending on who you are. Some people saw this and were more into it. Other people were like, no, this confirmed my fears. So it's already starting to become such a like hot game in terms of, I think, discourse, analysis, so many different angles. Like there's so much attention, there's so much pressure mounted onto it. So rough.
I think even with those split reception to it, I didn't see one person that was like, banger, this looks like a banger. Like this looks like game of the year contender, like level, like this is going to blow my socks off. I didn't see anybody on kind of funny comments. You're wrong. I didn't see anybody on that level for it, right? And I think for WB and for Rocksteady, that's probably cost to go. Let's go back to the drawing board. There's only so much you can do on a gameplay and a design level for a game that is this far along. But you mentioned earlier marketing, and I do think that, yeah, maybe on the marketing level, there's something you can do, right? Maybe you got to recontextualize how you present this game to an audience, because the way they presented it during that PlayStation showcase and the way I'd say they presented it up until now just hasn't been great, right? Both from the fact that you had the Battle Pass leak and none of us, most of us up to this point didn't really think it was going to be a Battle Pass style game, right? Like this ongoing games as a service style thing. Like, what could you have done better before to make that more apparent or ease people into the idea of that? What can you do between now and later in the year to sell people on the fact that, hey, no, we believe in this thing. We think it's good. We like, this is why a post-launch plan is going to work for this thing. And also, you know, they talked about, speaking of post-launch, they talked about adding in content over the time. Maybe it's the idea of, what if we can work more on that content and then have the game come out in fall and like have it be a rapid succession of, all right, now here's this, and this, and really blow people away with the post-launch content by having it ready by the time the game comes out. Maybe there's something there they're trying to do as well, but who knows? This is fucking wild news. I wasn't expecting to get this as breaking news, but again, absolutely wild. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Right now, let me tell you about what happens over on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Over there, we got exclusive content. We got Kind of Feudy. We got the Next Gen podcast. And we also have our shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
Shout out to Shady Rays for sponsoring this episode. Look how cool I look. You too can look this cool. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and so much more. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. They'll also provide 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order and have donated over 20 million meals to date. That's fantastic. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. Exclusively for y'all listeners and watchers right now, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the new year. You can go to shadyrays.com and use code KINDOFFUNNY for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. These are 5-star rated by over 200,000 people. Again, that's shadyrays.com. Use the code KINDAFUNNY. funny. Shout out to Honey for sponsoring this episode. Honey is the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer, and thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. And we all know there's nothing better than the feeling of saving money. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. When you check out, the Honey button appears, and all you have to do is click apply coupons. You'll wait a few seconds, you see the fun little dancing guy. Honey searches for coupons and it finds you the best ones. And then you just watch the prices drop. We here at Kind of Funny have been using Honey for years, and it's helped us save thousands on tech, costumes, food, you name it. Honestly, I just love how easy it is to just set and forget and save. That's the best part. Honey doesn't just work on desktops, it works on your phone too. You just activate it on Safari on your phone, you save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. You can get PayPal Honey for free at joinhoney.com/kindafunny. That's joinhoney.com/kindafunny.
And we're back with story number 3. Jim Ryan wants just one thing, and it's disgusting. This is Allie Jones at Games Radar. That's not their headline. That's my headline, but you're about to find out why. An Activision exec claims that Sony chief Jim Ryan said he had no interest in an improved deal over Call of Duty and was simply focused on blocking the Xbox Activision deal. In a tweet yesterday, Activision chief communication officer Lulu Chang Messervy posed a rhetorical question, quote, "We've offered Sony guaranteed long-term access to Call of Duty, but they keep refusing. Why?" End quote. According to Messervy, the answer to that question was provided on February 21st when Microsoft and Sony's executives met in Brussels from the famous Brussels sprouts, reportedly in an attempt to hammer out the details of the deal. Who would have thought? On that, Jana, did you know Brussels sprouts is spelled with the S at the end of Brussels?
No.
I learned this yesterday. Yeah, I thought Brussels was singular. Turns out
it's good to keep learning, you know?
Yeah, you got to keep learning. Back to the article. On that day, Microsoft confirmed its deal to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo Switch and announced an additional a similar agreement with NVIDIA GeForce Now, but it seems they didn't make much headway with Sony. Messervy claims that Ryan told Xbox and Activision that, quote, "I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger." End quote. Wow.
I mean, wow. It's honest.
I mean, fair play. Yeah, it's honest and it's straightforward.
Player hater of the year. Why not? And again, at the end of the day, it's, it's business, and business is many things, including kind of petty. It's just that this is like a very honest messaging. It's like, no, I don't want that. I just want you to not have this. That's it. Just to be clear, like that is what this is all about, and what it'll continue to be about for some time. So yeah, I'm excited for this saga to be concluded, I think.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting. It's wild that we're getting more and more like heated moments from the saga. Because yesterday there was the big story that Microsoft confirmed that PS Plus could they would be down for Call of Duty to launch day and date on PS Plus, right, to keep parity with Xbox Game Pass and what they do with Call of Duty. And this feels like the follow up to that, right? Of, hey, we're not here to discuss. We're not here to talk. We're not here to argue back and forth. I got one mission and one mission only, and it's to make sure that you don't buy Activision. I was in the Slacks this morning being like, yo, they got to make a movie out of this. I got to see this adapted.
Again, I slacks you, Matt Damon as Jim Ryan. Come on.
This gives me like Social Network vibes of like of Andrew Garfield yelling.
Right. Yeah.
Like you said Matt Damon. Give me Adam Driver. Give me angry Adam Driver. As Jim Ryan.
Well, I'm just thinking about
Every
the
day
look.
I wake up and I wish you would die.
Think about older Matt Damon playing Jim Ryan. Like, I think that's fucking perfect, man.
I think he would nail it from the look. I just want Adam Driver to channel his anger. I just need this quote in angry Adam Driver voice.
You gotta stop thinking about Marriage Story.
It was such an entertaining.
It's hard
movie,
to.
Right when he punches the wall, when he turns around, he fucking punches the wall. What a movie!
Honestly, that movie's really good. I know people meme the hell out of that scene, but it is genuinely.
I love Marriage Story so much. Story number 4. A Resident Evil 4 remake demo is seemingly coming today. This is Chris Scullion at VGC. The previously announced demo of the Resident Evil 4 remake is likely to arrive today, according to a new ad for the game. Twitch users have been reporting that an ad for the game has been occasionally appearing, which ends with the words, quote, "demo available now." It appears that the ad has been made active too early because Capcom is set to air a digital presentation of its upcoming games later today. It's all but certain then that during the presentation, the publisher will announce that the Resident Evil 4 Remake demo will be available as soon as the presentation ends. Jana, what are your hype levels for Resident Evil 4 Remake?
I'm pretty excited because this is one of, if not, according to some people, like the most critically acclaimed game in the franchise. Like a lot of people rank this as their favorite. And I never played it. I only played a little bit of it probably back in the day, and then I got it again on Switch and started it there. But then I kind of stopped in part because there were already rumors about RE4 Remake, being a thing. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll just table this until then. And the time's almost here. So I'm excited about it. I enjoyed what I played of it so far. Again, I was pretty early. I was like still in that initial like town area shooting the medallions and stuff. And this is, according to a lot of people, kind of that nice hybrid between action and more, not that horror can't have action, but like more, it's like not horror. Too, yeah, like more survival horror. Like it's like right on the edge in a really fun way, according to, people that have played it. So definitely excited for this. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to dip into this demo. Historically, I actually do a lot of the Resident Evil demos. Like I did the Village demo and had a lot of fun with that. I just don't know if I'm like, do I want to wait until long? I'll probably end up playing it. Yeah. I think there's a pretty good chance I end up dipping into this. But what about you? Are you looking forward to RE4?
I'm looking forward to it. After playing RE2 Remake and getting into RE7 and RE8 and playing RE3 as well, like I'm fully into Resident Evil in a way that I never was before Resident Evil 2 Remake. Like now I'm just in, and so I've been very much looking forward to the idea and now the official version of Resident Evil 4 Remake. Like it's something that I've wanted for a while because I've wanted, like you, I've like only dipped into Resident Evil 4 and I bounced off like multiple times. And I've been looking forward to a version that feels like a modern PS5 game. Like, give me all the accoutrements of like fidelity and performance, and let me move while I shoot. Like, give me everything that modernizes it, and let me just get lost in it. So yeah, I've been looking forward to it. I am regarding demos. I think I'm becoming more and more of a non-demo person. Every now and then, I like a good demo. I played the Wolong Fallen Dynasty demo, and that's what sold me on that game. But I just don't feel like replaying. Shit. That's my main thing. Is I don't want to play something to then play it again. That's why, even though I always appreciate previews, right? And previews are so valuable for this job. Sometimes I go into a preview being like, oh man, all right, I'm gonna play 3 hours of this game, meaning I'm gonna have to replay the 3 hours. Ah, dang. All right, I guess like. I love it when demos let you carry over your progress into the full game. Like for me, that's the ideal way to go about it. And so yeah, I'm not gonna do this demo. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the full game. Story number 5, final news story. It's official. Eren Jaeger from Attack on Titan is hitting Fortnite next season. This morning, the Fortnite Twitter account tweeted out, "There's more to explore beyond the walls," with an image, with the hashtag Fortnite Mega, and then the image of this cool looking like lit up city with neon lights in the background, and then Eren Jaeger looking toward it with his cool Attack on Titan gear there. Janet, you're a Fortnite person. Have you been keeping up with the Mega business?
No, I don't really dig into a lot of the lore aspect of it. I just know the new season's dropping on Friday, and today's Thursday, right? Today's the last hurrah with my squad of before the new season hits, which is the same stuff we're just gonna keep playing. But now it'll be a new season. This is a cool collab/crossover, right? Like Fortnite's very famous for having cool stuff like this. I feel like I gotta go back to like. On MinMax, we did our predictions, and I think I did mention Attack on Titan as a potential one, or maybe Kyle Hillier did. I don't know, but I think this is a really smart inclusion. We'll see what other like Attack on Titan characters there are. Also, I'm like lapsed on Attack on Titan, so I don't know if I'm going to pick up any of these skins, and I just dropped hella coin on Aloy, because they brought my girl Aloy back into the shop, and I never had her, and I was like, oh, I already used my, like I have the crew, and I'm like, oh, I already used my like, V-Bucks. So I'm like, oh, I gotta buy more. I'm like, oh, this is so embarrassing because I dropped like so much money when Dragon Ball Z came out, or the Dragon Ball characters came in. So yeah, I don't know if I'll dip into like this IP specifically, since I only watched like I think the first 2 seasons. I kind of got like bored of how like into the weeds political things got. That's right, it's an anime I watched. Every now and then it happens. So I don't know if I like care enough. I'm just waiting for my dream collab, which is Sailor Moon. So Fingers crossed.
Oh, that'd be sick as hell to get Sailor Moon in Fortnite.
I'd get everything. You could get everything.
That'd be
It'd
awesome.
Be so
I never thought about that. Holy cow.
It's gonna happen, right? And I feel like
that'd be so smart. Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna happen. You know?
I mean, they're going through all the different anime. Like we got Dragon Ball in there. There's Naruto in there. We got Attack on Titan now. Eventually, you're gonna hit Sailor Moon.
They got
and then once they hit Sailor Moon,
right?
Yeah, My Hero's in there.
They got My Hero.
Yeah, that fucking Deku item.
Here's the thing. I need them to get to Sailor Moon because the more we start to get through all these anime, the closer and closer we get to Yu Yu Hakusho. All right, let me play as my boy Kuwabara in Fortnite.
Which one is like the more currently running show? Is it Yu Yu or
Hunter?
Hunter. Like I could see Hunter coming sometime soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like Chainsaw Man at some point, just because of how popular Chainsaw Man was. But I don't know how you like figure out his hitbox with his fucking chainsaw like popping out of his face. That'll be interesting.
It's just a sacrifice you got to make. You get the Chainsaw Man, you got to have the bigger hitbox.
Because even like with some of the skins that I have, like I have like one of the Peely skins, and like his head clips out of the car when he's in the car, and it's like it's fine. You know what I mean? Like you live with it. Like it'll be all right. Yeah. So
how far did you get
in
Attack on Titan?
How far did I get? I think I'm like season. I think I might be season 3 because I went through definitely the first season, and then I think season 2 was where they got like really into the political weeds, like, and it just got really boring for me during that part, and I'm like, I can't keep doing this. So then I just dropped off. But I've thought about going back because I think there is some cool stuff. Also, too, like the mystery of like, and I'm not gonna spoil anything.
Okay, don't spoil because I only
don't know
finished
the answers
season 1.
to the mystery, but just the way they set up, like with season 1 and stuff, there's like, oh, there's a box in the basement, but we can't open it. I break through that shit. Like it's not. I don't understand why we still have not gotten this fucking taken care of. But yeah, so season 2's boredom is the thing that like got me. People in chat saying, yeah, 2 weakest season, 3 and 4 are insane.
Oh, don't say that because I need to watch season. Because I watched season 1. I've watched the first episode. Season
1's
2.
awesome. Except I actually hate Eren. He's like really annoying because he's a little. Because like Mikasa Stan. You know.
Oh my god.
Most shonen protagonists aren't the annoying character.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He could be worse, I guess. It was really cool with I don't know, light spoilers for one episode when he got his shit to work and it was broken. That was a goated moment. I'm not gonna front. That was really cool.
Season 1 was a fantastic season of television. I made the mistake of watching it with a friend. I watched season 1 with a friend, and like we loved it so much, and I was like, all right, we're doing season 2. We just never it was Yami. We started watching Jane the Virgin afterwards, and never got back to Attack on Titan.
I fell off Jane the Virgin as well. I got a lot of things to go back to.
Dude, honestly, I also fell off Jane the Virgin. I watched all of season 1 though. End of season 1 of Jane the Virgin is fucking great.
Okay, the new Never Have I Ever. Are you caught up on that? Because I haven't gone back yet. Yeah, you are caught up?
It's great.
Why didn't you tell me that you caught up?
I thought we probably talked about the previous season because they released. I feel like they released the season pretty quickly. But no, this season better than the last season because I think the previous season I didn't like.
You know?
Yeah. No, Davey was kind of annoying a season ago, but they made it better. Janet,
Fortnite's gonna be awesome. I'm excited.
I can't wait to see when they add Never Have I Ever characters into the Fortnite, but that is so far away. If I want to come out to mom and grab shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, we got Clash Artifacts of Chaos for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. IB or IB for Switch, No by Heart for Switch, Monster Energy Supercross 6 for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, PC. Oni, Road to be the Mightiest Oni for PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC. Why'd they put Oni in there twice?
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it though.
Oh, is that one that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, it seems cool. I don't know if it is. I haven't seen if there's reviews out for it or anything yet. But...
It's not related to Oni for PS2, the launch window game that was developed by Bungie and Rockstar, right?
I don't think
the anime game. I like that game a lot. We got Session Skate Sim for Switch. Do Not Feed the Monkeys, $20.99 for PC. Figment 2, Creed Valley for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Switch. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 4 for Switch. The Last Spell for PC, PS4, PS5, Switch. Transport Fever 2 for or Console Edition for PS4, PS5, and Xbox. And then Peaky Blinders, The King's Ransom for MetaQuest. There you go. New date for you. GTA Online Los Santos Drug Wars The Last Dose is launching March 16th. And then deal of the day for you. Warhammer 40,000 Gladius Relics of War will be free to claim from the Epic Game Store from March 16th to the 23rd. And then Rune Factory 3 special launches September 5th for Switch and PC. That is a new date for you. I think Greg Miller might have copied and pasted that to the wrong thing. And then let's see. Hold on. There's a Wario 64 link in here. Let's see what that is. Oh, there's a Capcom sale going on the US eShop. There you go. Nice. You can get Monster Hunter Generations for $3. Goddamn. That's a 92% discount.
The interesting thing, though, is that Wario pointed out here that, and it's the reason why I put this in here. Plus, it's probably the final 3DS fire sale and probably Wii U eShop before they're shut down.
Oh, so, yeah. That's a good call. Yeah, if you want to get some deals on some games you're not going to be able to get ever again, hop on the 3DS. Now it's time for kindafunny.com/you're wrong, or you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. Okay, Radic here, of course, the homie Radic from CD Projekt, says Mario was rather a landlord than a janitor. Here's an excerpt from a CNBC article from 2018. When Nintendo released Donkey Kong in the United States, the company's American executives felt that Jumpman needed a better name. Workers at Nintendo's Washington warehouse had started calling the character Mario, because he resembled the property's landlord, a man named Mario Segal. According to the book Game Over, press start to continue. Miyamoto heard about the nickname and liked it, so he stuck with it.
Nice.
So we don't fuck with Mario now. Is that what we're saying?
I mean, the Mario the character. Oh, I guess he's named after a landlord, so technically he's not a landlord.
Okay.
So we still fuck with Mario.
All right.
But he's on thin ice.
He's on thin ice. The second I find out that he's a landlord somewhere, making profits off of just like people trying to live somewhere, I ain't fucking with him.
He can handle himself on thin ice though. It's like a lot of the levels.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a really good point. Mario Maker 2 had one additional style, 3D World style, as it was not compatible with the other styles. Mario 2 style was a power-up you could add to your level. It was not an additional style. Very good, you're wrong. As I was saying it, I was like, there's something off here, but I couldn't figure out where I was wrong. But yeah, the 3D World style was the one additional style.
Nice.
And that's it. Yep, that's it for kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tomorrow's hosts for the show are going to be Greg and Tim. That's right, the return of Greg Miller. If you're watching this live right now, after this is Elden Ring with Mike, Andy, and Nick. If you want to catch that stream later, you can, of course, subscribe to youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Remember, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. Until next time, game daily.